Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hi everyone, Hussain Qazi here, facilitator for the subject SBR, AFM and FM. A very warm welcome to all of you for the orientation session of strategic business reporting. You can consider this session as demonstration lecture as well. Based on my 18 years of experience, I can assure you at the end of this lecture, at the end of this session, you will be able to get the right direction for the exam preparation of strategic business reporting. And based on this direction, based on that roadmap that I will provide to you, you will be able to get success of upcoming SBR exam. But the condition is that you must have to watch this complete video. The duration approx 60 minutes. So watch that video very carefully. Let's start our session. Students, our studies is about business studies. And during the journey of ACCA, you have already studied a lot of subjects like taxation, like law, like costing, like financial management. And you have already studied the subject accounting as well. So, with respect to accounting, our role as an accountant. So, the point is that, for example, the business British Airways, you are an accountant, and what's your role? Your role is that identify the business transaction of British Airways. For example, British Airways involves in a transaction called renovation of all interior of aircrafts. That is the transaction. So as an accountant, what's our responsibility? What's your responsibility? Recording of this financial transaction according to the accounting rules, and after recording, report that transactions or making of financial statement according to the International Accounting Standard IAS or International Financial Reporting Standard IFRS. That is what the mindset you already have with the subjects. Financial accounting you have already done, financial reporting F7 you have already done. With same structure, some advancement required with the strategic professional level exams with same structure, and that is called SBR, strategic business reporting. So based on this structure, once again, welcome to strategic business reporting. I am Hussain Qazi, and here is my brief profile. 18 years of facilitation experience for ACCA qualification, specialized subject SBR, AFM, FM, senior faculty member right now at Tabani's School of Accountancy, Platinum Status College of Pakistan, and also a business partner academics online learning platform that's called HussainQazi.com. Practical exposure in the, with respect to the corporate world, associated with KPMG from 2005 to 2010, and then started a business with the name HRS Network, now performing as the role as director of professional accountancy. Alhamdulillah, hundred of times throughout the 18 years of journey, student associated with me got prize winners awards, not in Pakistan, outside the Pakistan as well. ACCA invited me multiple times in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka to conduct exam focus session. And I am also a registered CPD trainer at ACCA platform. So here's my brief profile. Now I'm starting the SBR with the motivation factor. Before starting the subject, you must have to develop a positive mindset that the subject you are going to prepare having a very good passing rate. This is the highest motivation factor for you. Approx 50% 50% of the passing rate. Yes, I know that syllabus is very much extensive, but the passing rate is very good. It's almost 50%. 50%, such a highest, such a very motivation factor for you. So this is what the first thing that should be in your mind. So students, what's the agenda of this 1 hour session? Number one, first we will cover what the syllabus insights and what's the examiner expectation from us. Number two, what's the SBR exam format with the new changes? What should be the right study approach of the SBR? What are the real challenges and how to overcome these challenges to get the success? SBR journey with Hussain Qazi, how the course will execute with Hussain Qazi. We will conduct one basic question as well to get an idea about the SBR exam and your frequently asked questions as well. So let's start syllabus insights. Syllabus insights. Let's start with the syllabus insights. Okay, before drill down the syllabus, one thing very important and one very interesting thing we need to identify here. Number one, the prerequisite or the previous subject you have studied, that's called financial reporting. Okay, that is the one thing. But another interesting thing, you studied financial management as well. You studied financial management. Yes. The advanced name of the financial management called AFM. You studied AA, audit assurance. The advanced name of the AA called advanced audit assurance. You studied TX, the advanced name advanced taxation. You studied PM, advanced name advanced performance measurement. But if you are going to study FR, the subject of advanced level called SBR, strategic business reporting, it's not only advanced financial reporting. So very important to notice here, the advanced subject name of FR, it's not only advanced accounting standard, it's more than advanced accounting standard. So let's drill down the subject. But this statement is very much important. SBR syllabus is not only about advanced accounting standard. Although major part of syllabus is advanced accounting standard, but not 100% syllabus is advanced accounting standard. So what are the syllabus? 5 components. First 2 components. Number 1, IFRS. Number 2, conceptual framework. Number 1, knowledge and application of IFRS. Number 2, knowledge and application of conceptual framework. Absolutely right. These 2 components called advanced financial reporting. But this is not the only part of syllabus. 3 more components of the syllabus are. That is plus. Number 1, ethical implications for real business accounting issues. Number 2, performance measurement. This is not about the ratios analysis, something different. We will discuss later on. Performance measurement. Number 5, current development. So these 3 components, these other 3 components, if we add with AFR, is equal to strategic business reporting. So you must have to drill down in your mind. There are 5 components of syllabus: IFRS, conceptual framework, ethics, performance measurement, current development. That's a point. Now it's time to drill down one by one what inside syllabus number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and what are the examiner expectation. Examiner expectation also need to consider very important, because if we just prepare the exam not considering what examiner expect, so actually we are not preparing the exam up to the mark. So let's start one by one. Accounting standard. Yes, accounting standard. I have splitted the accounting standard into 4 phases. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. There are total 31 accounting standards that you need to cover. Total 31. Phase 1, group accounts. Phase 1, group accounts. Group accounts having 7 accounting standards. 7. With 6 topics. These are 6 topics that you need to cover. This session is not about the technically to cover the things what inside the syllabus. Technically, but just develop a direction. So these are the 6 topics with 7 standards. 7 standards are IAS 27, IFRS 3, IFRS 10, IFRS 11, and IAS 21 also connect with group accounts. IAS 7, cash flow also connect with the group accounts, and IFRS 12. So 6 topics in a 6 topics to cover with 7 accounting standard of group accounts. Phase 2, second phase of the accounting standard called extensive accounting standards. Extensive accounting standards. And extensive accounting standards include 6 accounting standards. Extensive accounting standard includes 6 accounting standards. Financial instrument, taxation. These 2 standards you have already studied with your previous study. Very limited here, more advancement required. Employees benefits, share-based payment, you never studied before. These are the new standard. Leasing, some part you have studied earlier. Revenue, some part you have already studied earlier. So 6 accounting standards are extensive. Sir, what do you mean by extensive? Extensive means very time consuming and in fact complex as well. So these standards will take very much time. Phase 3, less extensive accounting standard. These 6 accounting standards you never studied before, except something about IFRS 13. But mark my word, these are the accounting standard which are less extensive, which means hardly 5 to 6 hours requires to cover all these standards. Hardly 5 to 6 hours, maximum 7 hours. You will be able to get all the knowledge about these standards. Phase 4, prior knowledge standard. Prior knowledge. Prior knowledge includes 12 standards. But I'm not reading the name. That's, for example, IAS 16, IAS 36, IAS 2, IAS 23. These are the standards. But prior knowledge standard doesn't mean that the priorities are lesser. All standards having equal priority. All standard, even the prior knowledge accounting standard. Examiner even examine IAS 16, IAS 37, IAS 36, all standards here with higher standard, with high caliber. We will discuss later. So these are the list of the accounting standard. 4 phases. Phase 1, group accounts. Phase 2, extensive accounting standard. Phase 3, less extensive. Phase 4, prior knowledge accounting standard. What examiner expect from us? What examiner expect from us? Examiner expect from us not only to make financial statement extract that you normally have, that you normally do with F7 or F3. Here examiner expect to explain the accounting principles and explanation about the calculation as well. For example, IAS 36. So you must have to develop ability to explain the principle of IAS 36. And if you are doing calculation, ability to explain the calculation as well. So this is what called application of accounting standard with the real business scenarios. This is what about accounting standard, syllabus and examiner expectations. Next, quick conceptual framework. You have already studied something, a very limited aspect in F7 and F3 as well, but here very detailed. Everybody knows that International Accounting Standard Board has two projects. Number one, accounting standard, new accounting standard development, changes in the existing accounting standard. This is the project number one. Number two, the second project is about conceptual framework. What's the role of conceptual framework? There are multiple roles. For example, one of the role is that if any of the financial transaction and any of the financial transaction which don't have guidance by the accounting standard or IFRS, so we have to record and report the transaction according to the conceptual framework. For example, till now, no accounting standard about the digital currencies, Bitcoin, for example. So how to report the Bitcoins? How to report if a company involves a transaction with Bitcoin, how to report it? So guideline provided by the conceptual framework. Very simple, another example. There is no accounting standard to deal with prepaid expense, no accounting standard to deal with accrued expense. So we use the conceptual framework. So this is one usage of conceptual framework. There are multiple things, but we will cover it. Conceptual framework has revised by 2018, and that is revised version is applicable with SBR syllabus. The content of conceptual framework includes qualitative characteristics of financial statement, and we need to develop expertise about the knowledge and application with the case. What examiner expect? This is examiner expectation. This is the screenshot of the examiner document, examining team document. This is not my document. This is not my writing, just a screenshot. To pass this exam, candidates require our in-depth knowledge of conceptual framework. A sample question, a sample. You must have to make a concentration. You must be very much concentrated with this complete lecture. You will get the valuable insights and get the right direction. And mark my word, with all SBR study, with all SBR preparation, आपने डरना नहीं है, आपने घबराना नहीं है, और आपने रुकना भी नहीं है. Which means don't be afraid and don't stop. Keep moving. So for conceptual framework, a sample question. Sample question. An extract of a question of September 2018. Outline the criteria in IS 38 for recognition of an intangible asset and discuss whether these are consistent with conceptual framework. 5 marks. So examiner examine the conceptual framework with integration. Exam scope is integration, integrated with the topics. That's the point. That is the point. Now, ethics. Ethics. I know that ethics you have already studied previously with the exam of law, with the exam of audit. Yes. Sir, how to deal ethics with this exam questions? How examiner examine the things? Number one, basic principles of the ethics are remain same. The principles or the ACJ rules of ethics, integration, integrity, objectivity, all these things, professional competence, all these things, and the situation of the threats as well, which is situation of threats impact to the principles. So ACCA Code of Ethics and Fundamental Principles, basic knowledge same. Code of Ethics and Conduct identified threats to the fundamental principles remain same. What expertise required here? Application of ethical case with accounting issues. Application of ethical case with accounting issues. Let's say you appointed in a company as a junior accountant and I am your senior. You have identified that in a company there are some mistakes with respect to the application of IS 37, making of the provision. And then you drill down the things why this mistakes happens, why this mistake has actually happened. So you have identified that Mr. Hussain Qazi, your senior, has made that mistake deliberately to manipulate the profit. Because Mr. Hussain Qazi bonus or salary based on profitability of the company. So this is something very much ethical concern point to you. So with this case, what examiner expect? Examiner expect to you that you have to draft answer. Number one, what should be the right accounting treatment? So first thing is about the accounting standards. Number two, what is the ethical case here? So develop the ethical case and what should be the right action which should be taken by the junior accountant. So ethical case, identify threats, identify the impact of threats to the principles of ACCA Code of Ethics, and the action should be taken by the junior accountant. So these type of case examiner examine with this ethics points. Multiple more things we will cover later on. So like a sample question here. For example, A part of the question is about IFRS 15. No need to read complete requirement, just an overview. A part is about 15 marks accounting. B part is about explain ethical issue for the finance director, Mr. Bitso, setting out how issues may be resolved, 10 marks. And with ethics, 2 professional marks also allocated here. So how to deal professional marks we will discuss later. So once again, ethics, exam scope is integrated. Exam scope integrated. Okay, so 3 things we have covered with syllabus insights and examiner expectations. Number 1, accounting standard, 4 phases. Number 2, conceptual framework, very in-depth knowledge required. Number 3, ethics. Number 4, performance measurement. Performance measurement is also the part of syllabus, but do remember this is not about ratios and analysis. So sir, what is this about? This is about investor perspective. Investor perspective. What does that mean? Students, listen carefully. Come on here. Okay. So if we make the financial statement, so our perspective as accountant, whenever we identify any transaction, so always consider that transaction as an accountant. Accountant means how to record and report the transaction according to the accounting standard. This is accounting perspective. So accountant perspective for any transaction is about recording, presenting, reporting of transaction. But the question is that accountant make the financial statement for what purpose? The purpose is that this financial statement is for user of the financial statement. And user are investors. Our existing shareholders are investor. Our existing bankers who provide the loan to us, loan providers, are investors. Potential shareholder, potential debt holders are potential investors. So we make financial statement for user of the financial statement. User are investor or potential investor. So with SBR question, examiner says that you need to answer some question, not with view of maker of the financial statement, not with view as accountant, but as investor. And investor always think in a manner for analysis of decision making. For example, you are a shareholder of a company and I'm an accountant. So will you think in a manner like accountant? Never. You as shareholder always think for decision making. Yes, your decision making based on the financial statement or reporting I make, that's for you. But for some of the question you need to answer with respect to investor perspective. How, we will discuss later. So investor perspective. So students, for investor perspective, another point is that one thing we need to cover that if any of the accounting standard we apply, what are the implications of that accounting standards or financial statement with respect to investor? If investor making the decision, so what will be the impact if I apply any accounting standard? But another point is that I have a question to you. Reply my question. Think about it. If you are a shareholder of any company, think about it. Is the financial statement enough? Do you satisfy that financial statement enough to represent the complete company's performance? The answer is no. The financial statement, income statement, balance sheet is not good enough to provide the complete information of the company on which we make the decision. So it means shareholder or the user, debt holders, wants more information about the company's performance that is other than accounting standard. So in the real world, some more performance measurement tools available, and these tools are like this: alternative performance measurement tools, sustainable reporting, integrated reporting, management commentary. What are these topics? It's not a discussion point right now, but only the direction I'm providing here. Whenever you are answering some question, investor perspective, so what should be the mindset? So this is the part of the syllabus about performance measurement. Examiner expectation. This is not my expectation, it's examiner expectation. SBR exam will require candidates to adopt stakeholder or investor focus in answering some questions. So we need to do practice in a manner. Further, current development. Last area of the syllabus, current development. There are three components with the current development. Number one, if there is some new accounting standard, so examiner expect to make some discussion or having some knowledge about new accounting standards. new developments of accounting standard or new changes. For example, right now there are discussion about the changes of IS 1. So what examiner expect? Examiner expect the student must have to know the accounting implications of the new accounting standard or new changes. And also student must have to aware that what are the deficiencies of the previous accounting standard or the previous rules. We must have to aware about the deficiencies. Because of that deficiencies, standard now required new treatment. So number one, new accounting standard. Number two, another thing, new business developments means new in the real business world. There are a lot of things that's are coming day by day and their implications with the accounting. For example, new development of digital asset. For example, climate change, natural disasters, pandemic. These are the issues which we have to based on these issues, what are the implications with the accounting issues. So we must have to be aware about that. How to deal this matter, we will cover later. And one more thing, sustainable reporting. Student, about sustainable reporting, just few seconds. If you are a shareholder and I am providing you the financial statement, it's all about the reporting of past. Whatever has happened last year, I will provide you the report as a performance with respect to income statement. And till now, whatever the position of the company, that is balance sheet. So all the income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, that is about past performance. But as a businessman, you want to know something about future. You wanted to know about sustainability of the business. Okay, Mr. Hussain, whatever you have provided, that is to past. But what about your sustainability? For example, there are the changes with respect to the climate. Continuously technological change in the environment and creation of the new businesses, creation of the digital assets, pandemic matters. So do some shareholder expect that? Do share some important things, some reporting about the sustainability of the business. Every shareholder wants sustainable reporting. Although there are not exactly accounting standard, there are no exactly accounting standard till now. But these are the discussion about the sustainable reporting and the developments of the standard about sustainability. So we need to cover this point here, current developments. One good news for you, exam scope for current development is integrated. Examiner particularly mentioned there will not be a complete single question about current development. An examiner never expect very detailed knowledge of the current development. Only expect a basic principles about the current development. So we don't worry about that very in-depth knowledge, just a basic principles. So this is what all about the syllabus insights. I hope it's very variable for you what inside the syllabus and what examiner expectation. Now, class, almost 30 minutes has gone. Remaining 30 minutes. All of you people must be with me and must have, and at the end of the session, I have already committed to you that you will get the right direction towards the success of the exam. So let's start. What's the SBR exam format? What's the SBR exam format? SBR exam format based on two sections, section A, section B. Section A, question number 1, 30 marks. And this 30 marks is majority about group accounts. Out of 30, 24, 23 marks group accounts, sometime 27, 28, and very limited other syllabus area, other accounting standards. Question 2, 20 marks. Like discussed earlier, accounting issues and ethical implications. Section B, question 3, 25 marks, question 4, 25 marks. Section B is totally unstructured. Here accounting standard, here performance measurement, here current developments. Although ethics will not examine with the section B, but other than ethics, anything can be examined. Anything can be examined. So I can say that section A is much structured. And with section A, you can secure your 50 marks. Because we know that group accounts and some ethics points. So out of this 50, you can secure 35, 36, 38 marks. Rest with the section B. First, out of 50, whatever for example, with section A, you have got 36, 37 marks. So remaining 30 marks easily catch with the section B and then go towards the distinction point, distinctions, prize winners. So I will tell you that how to manage your paper in a manner to secure first 50 marks and then go towards the prize winners. May Allah willing, you will get the prize winners award. Okay, next point. Out of 100 marks, 4 marks are professionals and 96 marks technical. 96 mark technical. 4 professional marks, 2 marks related to ethics section A, 2 marks related to investor perspective. Believe me, these 4 marks are very easy marks. And I must say here, these 4 marks are in your pockets before the exam. So during our preparation, we will discuss that these 4 marks already we have. First, go to the examination hall and catch easy 46 marks. 46 plus 4, that's 50. And then quickly move towards the marks for 70, 75, 80, 85, and then get the prize winner award. So, but the point is that you have to obey my all directions. For example, if I say that do assignment, you have to do assignment, submit to me. Normally, I conduct 3 mocks, 1 mid mock, 2 final mocks. Have to attempt the mocks. If I say that attempt the mocks, you have to attempt the mocks, and all these things. Okay, this is what about the exam format. Next, SBR changes. SBR changes. Number 1, the changes only belongs to exam structure of question 1. Question 1 exam structure. No change with respect to syllabus content. No change with respect to syllabus content. No change with respect to syllabus content. What are the changes? Question number 1, 30 marks. The format of question number 1, has now become changed. Out of 30 marks, now 10 to 14 marks related to calculation. That's a spreadsheet requirement. That's called some adjustment with consolidated accounts. Candidates will be presented a pre-populated spreadsheet response. That's called pre-formatted consolidated accounts. And you need to make adjustment. Let's make it detail. Come on. Sir, what is this slide? This is a sample question extract. Sample question extract of SBR International Sample 1 September 23. Requirement 30 marks. This is the requirement exhibit. Number 1, A part is about No changes. That's simple. Calculate goodwill arising acquisition. That's 3 marks. Explain how to company should assess the goodwill impaired as 36. Calculation not required. No change. 5 marks. Then IFRS 5, 6 marks. I'm not reading the complete requirement. The change is here. Now, watch this. Using Exhibit 3, pre-populated, pre-formatted spreadsheet response option and adjust draft consolidated balance sheet. Where is the draft consolidated balance sheet? Here is the draft. That is drafted consolidated balance sheet. Here. This is drafted consolidated statement financial position. Drafted. This is the drafted accounts. Drafted accounts. And what examiner expect? Possible exam requirement? Correction of errors. Means some of the adjustment they have made, that's wrong. For example, fair value adjustment or goodwill impairment, you need to make correction. Or missing figure, they haven't, for example, they have missed fair value adjustment. They have missed to calculate the NCI. So you have to calculate the missing figures and either correction, either missing requirements. Requirement about the discussion as well. Discussion. Requirement about the discussion as well. Means discuss the error that you have corrected. Discuss the missing figures you have identified and incorporated. So that is what about the changes that they have made. And this change is a positive for students. It's something about calculation. It's rather than about drafting. Sir, with these new changes, do we have the practice material or don't worry? 2 specimen questions, 2 sample exam questions. ACCA published exam mocks and my practice material as well. ACCA study hub practice material also available. And I will also provide. Don't worry. So these are the SBR changes. Now, sir, do let us know how to get success. That's all. We have done that. What examiner expectation, what the syllabus, what the changes, how to get success. Student, to get the success, you have to develop a study approach. Right study approach. And you know that success need preparation. Sir, okay, we are ready for the preparation. What should be the action points? 3 action points. For success, 3 action points. Based on examiner expectations. Number 1, balance approach. Number 2, drafting ability. Number 3, investor perspective. One by one. Balance approach. Number 2, drafting ability. Number 3, investor perspective. Number 1. Action point number 1. Balance approach. Action point number 1. What does that mean? There are 5 syllabus areas. And for example, you have 10 weeks for preparation and revision. Each week you have decided to invest 20 hours. So you have 200 hours. So you have to invest your time for revision and preparation in a balanced manner. Balance means according to the weightage of exam. Weightage of exam based on past analysis that I have made. Based on past analysis. Syllabus number 1, IFRS, 55% to 60% examiner examined the question about IFRS. 8 to 10% conceptual framework. 7 to 10% ethical implications. 8 to 10% performance measurement. 10 to 12% current development. So do invest your time for preparation and revision with this weightage. For example, if you are going to invest 200 hours for preparation and revision, almost 60% time, for example, 120 hours out of 200, you need to invest for accounting standard. 8 to 10%, 20 hours for conceptual framework, 20 hours for ethics, 20 to 25 hours performance measurement, 20 hours for current development. Normally, students do mistake. 90% time invests for accounting standard or 92-93% accounting standard. Just 7 to 8% invest only for rest of the 4 items with too much hurry, and then enter to the examination hall. Once enter to the examination hall, examiner examine with this weightage. So at the point you bounce back with your exam. And that's the main reason for the failure. So number one, balance approach. Bhai iske according means according to this structure. Action point number one. Action point number two, drafting ability. This SBR exam, it's not about the numbers. 80 to 84% of the exam, it's about theory. 16 to 20% is about calculation. This is examiner wording. The ability to explain your workings is essential skill that is required in the workplace, and it is for that reason examining team has taken this approach. So this point about the ability to explain what examiner expect. This is, for example, a company. You are an accountant. Your responsibility to make financial statement. This is a transaction. What examiner expect? Examiner expect like this person. What this person is doing, communicate in a structured manner about this transaction. There is a limitation during the examination hall. The examination hall, it's not possible to stand up and communicate. But in the examination hall, we can show our ability about the communication in terms of drafting. And the drafting rule is that whenever you're drafting something or communicating something, first of all, you have to mention the principle. For example, IS 36 principle. You have to communicate to the audience that listen carefully, this is the principle of our discussion. Number one. Number two, with our case, according to the principle that it should be applied in this manner. And number three, the calculation is this. So this is what the organized or structure way that you should have to obey. That's examiner expect, ability to explain the answer. That means ability to communicate. So ability to explain your concept and working. And last, sometimes examiner expect you to answer not as a maker of the financial statement, not as a maker, but investor. In this exam, examiner requires expertise from candidates, not only from point of view of preparer of the corporate report, means accountant, but also from perspective of different stakeholder investor perspective. That is the point. For example, what is this? Read it. Investment property. Have you ever heard about that? Sir, we have already done. IS 40, we know that. IS 40 investment property. So, being as an accountant, what our perspective? How to record or report investment property, IP investment property by IS 40. That is cost model. That is fair value model. Cost model exactly IS 16. Historical cost, constant depreciation. Fair value model updated with fair value and fair value adjustment to the P&L, no depreciation. But think about that. If we report IS 40, if we report the investment property IS 40 according to the cost model, and we start application of cost model over the period, for example, 1 year to one of the investment property having a life of 20 years, and we have decided to report with the cost model. So what will be the impact? For example, over the 5 years, if cost model apply, what's the investor perspective, and what will be the impact on the decision making of the investor perspective? For example, cost model. Over the 5 years, if we apply the cost model, so normally there is a straight line depreciation. So cost model reflect our income statement a consistent depreciation. Balance sheet, the investment property value reduces in a constant manner. So that means cost model is very consistent and a smooth approach, so-called certainty. So if accountant apply cost model, so investor perspective, it's about smooth and consistent approach. But on the other hand, if fair value apply, so income statement reflects the fair value adjustment. So sometime at year end, fair value increase, sometime decrease. At the point of political stability or political betterment, sometimes real estate value shoot very much, sometimes decline. So that means income statement fair value adjustment, it's not consistent, it's bumpy, it's rocky. Sometimes increase, decrease, increase, decrease. It's not consistent. And same with the balance sheet values, not reduce in a constant manner. So which means fair value model is most updated, okay, but not consistent. Not consistent. Sorry. It's inconsistent, the fair value model. So that is the point. I'm not saying that, we are not concluding anything, which one is better and which one is not. We are just discussing here that what about the investor perspective? What about the investor perspective? So how to draft, how to think with respect to investor point of view. So 3 things important once again for the success. Number 1, balance approach. Number 2, number 1, balance approach. Number 2, ability of the drafting, communication through drafting. Number 3, investor perspective. Next point, what are the SBR real challenges? Number 1, SBR real challenges are coverage of 100% syllabus and revise the 100% syllabus. Syllabus is very much expensive, I know very well. Although passing rate is very high, but the syllabus is very extensive. And you know very well, for any exam, first time coverage syllabus is important, but revision is also parallel very much important. Number 2, yes, this is a real challenge to develop ability about the drafting, practicing with drafting. It's a challenge of the time management. 100%, we have to develop mindset that we have to attempt 100% paper during the exam. But this is a real challenge. And CB practice platform. Practice with the CB practice. So these are the challenges. But how to overcome? What's the solution? I'm telling you what the solution. Number 1, you have to cover the syllabus and practice the question. These are both simultaneous work. Means you never ever develop the approach that once I will complete the syllabus, then I start practice. Even 6 months will not enough for this. No, you have to develop a strategy. For example, I will provide you with my course a complete roadmap. First phase, for example, first 3 accounting standard and some ethics you have to cover, and then practice with the exam questions. Practice with the exam questions. Then second phase, then practice with the exam question. Third phase, practice with the exam question. So this is called simultaneous approach, simultaneous work. So first thing is simultaneous approach. Next thing is exam simulation, not practice, simulation. Simulation means what? Whenever I am providing you 25 marks question, normally I do to the students. I advise you 25 marks question, you have to submit me by next 2 days. So what you should do? Number one, shut down the door of your room, switch off your mobiles, open the system. For 25 marks, multiply by 1.8 minutes for each mark. Let's say 45 minutes. Lock the timer, start working with the CB format. Start working. At the end of the 45 minutes, out of 25 marks, you just attempted 19 marks. No worries. You just mentioned that I have done 19 marks. Then complete your question and submit through my email. So what does that mean, sir? This is not exam practice. This is exam condition practice. This is exam simulation. Means whenever you are attempting exam questions, number one, shut down the door. Switch off your mobile. Assuming that you are sitting in the examination hall, open the CB format, lock the timer, start the question. Irrespectively how much portion of question you are completing, irrespectively. Believe me, if you attempt 12 to 15 questions in this manner, you will feel the difference. You don't even purchase my course. But if you obey this advice, after 12 to 15 questions, you will feel the difference. Once you feel the difference, do contact me on WhatsApp and thankful to me. Just joking or kidding. So exam simulation, important. Simultaneous work, exam simulation and regular assignment and mock exams. 15 to 18 assignment from my sides and 3 mock exams with the continuous feedback. This is called progress evaluation system. That is the challenges and how to overcome. Once again, the highest motivation for the SBR preparation is that the passing rate, it's about 50%. 50% chance that you will pass the exam with the examiner. This is the highest percentage. I strongly suggest you have to start your preparation with this motivation. SBR practice questions. I suggest to my students, don't purchase the revision kit. Don't purchase the revision kit. Don't buy the revision kit. No need to buy revision kit. These questions are available with the CB format. These questions, these lists, you can make a screenshot and take out a print and paste in front of your study table. These are the questions. September, December 2023 till September, December, March, June 19. And SBR specimen 1 and 2. And mock exam. 17 questions. Multiply by 4 questions. Each paper have 4 questions. So it's almost 68 questions. This is a complete revision kit available with the CB format. That's all. This is your practice questions. Yes, with my course notes, some more practice questions available other than this as well. So it's a very huge practice bank available. No worries, it's time to start. That's all. How the course execute with Hussain Qazi? Number 1, SBR premium videos. Yes, recorded. Number 2, with this videos, 2 things will cover: concept building and exam practice questions. 100% course notes will be provided. No need for any study text. Even don't read the study up material. My course notes enough. SBR suggested answers. Suggested answers means for each topic, I have prepared some suggested answer for my students. That means one of the answer, that is the model answer available by ACCA, but a student face too much difficulty to read that model answer. For student convenience, almost 40 to 45% past papers suggested answers available, which is called student standard answers with the easy language available. Weekly meetings 5 p.m. Saturday each weekday. Each weekend we will meet. If you have any query, you can answer me. Number one, evaluate your progress, answer your queries, a little bit practice questions and move on. Assignment feedbacks regular basis, mocks feedbacks on a particular dates. So at the end of the day, with this learning outcome, at the end of the day, SBR syllabus knowledge, at the end of the day, you will be able to get 100% knowledge. SBR practice questions with new exam formats, SBR drafting techniques, we will provide you support how to draft the answer. Smart exam techniques where you can ask with your senior that how much Hussain Qazi focus on the drafting techniques and exam techniques. He or she will reply accordingly. Or you just observe my YouTube channel. I strongly suggest that you have to search my YouTube channel, HussaiNQazi.com. By the name Hussain Qazi. And subscribe the channel to get the free materials or very inside materials. And with the available videos, you can observe that how much smart techniques I have already shared with you people. And all the material I've shared here, it's all about examiner report analysis. Because whenever students are studying the subjects, preparing the SBR studies or AFM studies, my subject, always do study with examiner expectations. That is the smart technique. So this is the learning outcome. And finally, a very basic practice question. Students, I'm sorry. Now it's time for a basic practice question. Basic practice question of SBR. What is the objective of this basic practice question? What is the objective? Assuming that right now you have a mindset about the FR or F7 and now you are starting your preparation of SBR. So with this example, I am transforming your mind from SBR to, from FR to SBR. I am transforming your mind from FR to SBR. Transforming your mind from FR to SBR. Now let's start. This is a question. This is a question. On 31st December X1, entity noticed that one of its item of plant and machinery is often left idle. Often left idle. So once you read often left idle, that means impairment indication. Okay. So if it's about impairment indication, now it's time for impairment test. And for impairment testing, we need to identify or determine the values. On this date, the asset had a carrying amount of 500,000 and a fair value of 325,000. Estimated cost required to dispose of the asset 25,000. And if the asset is not sold, entity estimates that it would generate cash inflows of total 347,000 present value terms by next 2 years. So that means the complete information of impairment is available, carrying amount, compare with the recoverable amount which is higher of fair value less cost to sell. Fair value is 325, cost to sell is 25. That means 300,000 is a fair value less cost to sell. And the value in use 347,000. So we have to take higher figure, that is 347,000, and compare with this carrying amount. So this is what about the impairment loss. So we have to identify the impairment loss with mathematics and then record and report in the financial statement. Next requirement. The requirement same as F7 here. Number one, accounting treatment. Simple accounting treatment of the above transaction in the financial statement for the year end 31st December. Number two requirement. How would the answer to part A be different if there was a balance of 10,000 in OCE relating to prior revaluation of a specific asset? First two requirements is exactly about F7, making of extract. But here, discuss the accounting treatment of the above financial statement for year end 31st December X1. This discuss means something, some caliber, something about the caliber of SBR. So, number one, FR, part A, impairment 31st December X1. Carrying amount 500,000, compare with recoverable amount, which is higher of fair value less cost to sell or value in use. So higher order is 347,000 compared with carrying amount. So here we have identified the impairment loss of 153,000. Ignoring part B, no revaluation, the impairment loss will be charged to income statement and carrying amount 153,000. Extract of the income statement impairment loss charge 153,000 and SFP the balance sheet 500,000 minus 153,000 347,000. This is what you have done in the F7. Okay, sir. How would the answer to part A different if there was a balance of 10,000 in OCE to the prior revaluation? What will be the answer? Impairment loss is 153,000, no change, but charge to revaluation reserve. Non-current asset credit 153,000 and the balance amount to the impairment loss. So extract of the income statement of impairment loss 143 and a statement of financial position non-current asset, that is 347,000. Revaluation reduced by 10,000. This is F7. And this is, I must say here, this is FR F7 standard answer. But sir, discuss the accounting treatment of the above financial statement for the year end 31st December X1. This is SBR. So how to draft answer? How to write answer if you are student of SBR? Number one, IS 36 impairment of an asset says that any non-current asset must not be reported more than the value of its recoverable amount. This is knowledge. First of all, you have to incorporate knowledge. Number two, in case of impairment indication, here the case about idle machine. If you mention the case about idle machine, this is application. The entity need to make impairment test by comparing carrying amount of asset with recoverable amount. That is higher of fair value less cost to sale or value in use. And recoverable amount is the higher of fair value less cost to sell, 300,000, that is 325 minus 25, and value in use 347,000. Ignore working. Impairment loss charged to P&L 347,000. Whatever we have written after application, asset must be written down by 153. Whatever we have written or we will write after application, that is called working explanation. So knowledge, application, working explanation. Sir, is it necessary to write the knowledge exactly with the standard wording? No. Use your own wordings. Like this, IS 36 says that any non-current asset must not be reported more than the value of its recoverable amount. That's all. Okay. Now part B. Impairment loss 10,000 would be adjusted or recognized OCI and remaining 143,000 charged to income statement. So this is what about SBR standard. So transform your mind. Transform your mind. Our examiner expectation is to communicate like this person, but communicate with drafting. This is FR standard answer. This is SBR standard answer. And that's, I hope that your mind has transformed from F7 to SBR. Once again, welcome to SBR. That is all about this demonstration or orientation session. There are some frequently asked questions, one by one. What study text required for SBR preparation? No study text required. Only the HussaiNQazi.com notes are enough to cover entire syllabus. What revision kit required for SBR preparation? No revision kit required. Only the practice material of HussaiNQazi.com plus SBR past paper questions from September 18 are enough to pass the exam. What technical articles are important for SBR? Not all technical articles are relevant, but during the course, we will provide you guidance what technical articles are important. How to access lectures, until when the lectures will be available. Lectures will be available through LMS and the access will be available till your exam date. How to submit assignment or mocks and able to get feedback. You need to submit the assignment with this email sbrbyhussainkhazi@gmail.com, and after submission of the assignment you will get your answer maximum by 3 working days. How the live session will conduct and what are the timings. Mark your schedule, 5 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time plus 5 GMT every week, every Saturday. What are the key variables to get success of SBR? Once again, video lectures, notes, assignments or mock exam plus motivation is equal to success. 3 things. Once again, balanced approach of the syllabus. Number 2, ability to draft answer. Number 3, investor perspective. How much proportion of SBR exam with theory and calculation? Approx 20% after new development. It's about calculation. Rest 80 or 82% theory. The success rule, finally, it's based on power of belief. If these people can do these things, we should be very much motivated. That's yes, I can do that. You can connect with us with our YouTube channel, YouTube/@HussaiNQazi. Must have to connect with us with this YouTube channel, and WhatsApp +923218271784. Thank you very much. Let's start the SBR journey. If you have any query, you can contact me on the WhatsApp. Thank you very much. Take care a lot. Assalamu alaikum.